Welcome to our seated exercise series. Today is week number 4, which means it's our last class today for the seated exercise series. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Welcome to the class. If you are new to today's class, welcome. And even though it's the last class of the series, you are very welcome to join us. Our series has been recorded and they've been uploaded onto the YouTube channel, which if you go to youtube.com and you search Parkinson's Society BC, all in one word, you'll see the video recordings come up, and today's class will also be recorded and hopefully uploaded by the end of next week. So if you are new today, not to worry, you can always have a look at the previous 3 session recordings on YouTube at a later date, but you are very welcome to join us. We won't need any equipment today, and because it is a fully seated class, the only thing you need is just a chair to sit in, and ideally you want a chair without any armrests if possible, just so that way as we're moving today you won't accidentally hit your elbows on anything. But of course, if you only have a chair with armrests, that's okay as well. Just be a little bit mindful as we're moving today. So just be careful about your surroundings so you don't accidentally hurt yourself as we're doing the class today. And just like previous weeks, our class will be moderately paced. So if anything feels a little too quick for you, or you feel like you need to take a break, that's absolutely fine. You can feel free to do so. Please do listen to your body and be careful not to injure yourself. So if you feel like you need a break, please do take one and then get right back into the class when you can. Same with the speed of the exercises. If anything is too fast for you today, that's okay. Please feel free to slow it down as long as the amplitude of the movement and the quality of the movement remains. If you have any questions for today's class, you are welcome to ask. And you have 2 options to do that. Number 1 is using the chat box function, which if you hover your mouse to the bottom of the screen, you should see a little chat icon, which is sort of like a square. If you click on that, the chat box will open and you can type your questions there. Or if you prefer not to type your questions, you are welcome to use the raise hand function, in which case I will manually unmute your microphone so you can ask your question over voice if you prefer. But during the duration of the class, all of your microphones are automatically muted, just so we don't get any sounds coming in through the background that might be disruptive to the class. Okay, I think I see more people just entering from the waiting room. Welcome if you've just joined us. I was just saying that we don't need any equipment for today's class, just a chair for you to sit in, ideally a chair without armrests if possible, just so that way you don't hit your elbows and fingers and things like that as we move today. But it's okay if you only have a chair with an armrest. Just be mindful about the space around you. So the structure of today's class is very similar to previous classes, or actually, in fact, exactly the same as previous classes. We're going to do a warm-up, so a warm-up drill, and following that, we will do a brief stretching period, and then after we do our brief stretches, we are going to do our exercises, which is going to be sort of in a circuit form, and then we will finish the class with a dual task challenge, which is when we do a physical task, so a physical exercise, and we pair that with a cognitive exercise, so thinking skill type exercise. So that's the structure of the class today. It is recorded, so you can have a look at the recording at a later date if you like. And I don't think I mentioned it yet today, but if you are looking for another exercise class to do before the end of the year, we do have our Dance to Holiday series starting in November. So please sign up for that if you are interested in the dance class. And that would be the last exercise class of the year. And then we'll have new exercises coming in starting in January, which have not come out on our website just yet, but they will in the next couple of weeks. All right, I think that's the only spiel you'll get from me this morning. So let me move back to the chair and we can get started. Okay, hopefully you can see me and hear me okay. We're gonna start today with our warm-up drill. So when you're sitting in your chair, I want you to move forward in the chair. So if I turn sideways for a second, I don't want to see anyone sit like this in the chair where you're leaning all the way back into the backrest of the chair. And even if you aren't on the backrest, you can see how far back my bottom is in the seat. I want you to move forward so that you're sitting at the front of your chair, because that way you've got more room for your legs and arms and torso to move. Whereas if you're back here, it's very difficult to lift your legs. And if you were trying to twist your body, you get a little stuck. So we're going to sit at the fronts of our chairs. Okay, let me turn back around to face you. So we're sitting at the front of the chair, and today with our warm-up drill, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a default warm-up movement, so a warm-up movement that we're going to be doing the entire time. And then as you're doing this warm-up movement, I'm going to shout out 4 different exercises at you. And when I say those exercises, you're going to do those exercises and then come back to your default movement. So it'll make more sense once we get going. So your default movement today is going to be either a sit to stand or a bum lift. Okay, so let me turn to the side for a second. So your default exercise movement is either a sit to stand, or if you don't want to stand all the way up, you're just going to do bum lifts. Okay, so whichever version you choose, you're going to keep repeating this movement for the entire warm-up. So if you're choosing the sit to stand, make sure you're bringing your weight forward over your feet to then push yourself up to standing. And as you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not swinging up with momentum, or you're using the arms to kind of pull yourself up. You want to try to get your weight over your feet the entire time. So join me here doing your sit to stands, or just a bum lifts if you don't want to stand all the way up. So join me here, either your sit to stand or your bum lifts. Keep going with that movement. And while you're doing that movement, I'm going to explain to you the 4 exercises we're going to do. So keep doing your sit to stand or your bum lifts. So the first movement is when I say elbow to knee, you're going to stop doing your sit to stand or the bum lifts. You're going to sit down and you're going to give me 6 elbow to knees like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you return to your default movement of the sit to stand or the bum lifts. Okay. Now, if I say trunk twist, you're going to sit down. You're going to stop your default movement, sit down, and you're going to give me 4 trunk twists like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then return to your default movement of either the sit to stand or the bum lift. Okay. If I say heel raise, you're going to stop your default movement, sit down, and give me 4 heel raises like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then return to your default movement of the sit to stand or the bum lifts. Okay. Last one is if I say punch and kick, you're going to stop what you're doing, sit down, and give me 10 punch and kicks with the opposite arm and leg, which looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then return to your default movement. Does that kind of make sense? Oops, let me move back. Hopefully, yeah. Okay, so keep going with your sit to stands or your bum lifts, whichever version you want to do is okay. If you don't want to stand up fully, you can just do your bum lifts. Okay, keep going with your sit to stand or bum lifts. And let's start with our 6 elbow to knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and return to your default movement of the sit to stand or the bum lifts. Well done. Okay, heel raises. You're doing 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then return to your default warm-up movement of either the sit to stand or the bum lifts. Okay, punch and kick. You're doing 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and returning to your default movement of the sit to stand or the bum lifts. Nicely done. Hopefully you kind of get the idea. And we're gonna go for our 4 trunk twists. 1, 2, 3, 4. Return to your default movement of the sit to stand or the bum lifts, whichever one you're doing. Nicely done. Elbows to knees. We're doing 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Return to your sit to stand or your bum lifts. So this is too fast for you and you're doing those elbows to knees slower. That's okay. Just whenever you're done, you're going back to your default movement. Let's do punch and kick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nicely done. And we're going to go for a 4 trunk twist. 4, 3, 2, 1. And return to your sit to stand or your bum lifts. Heel raises. We're doing 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And return to the sit to stand or the bum lifts. Let's go for elbows to knees. You're doing 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to your sit to stand or the bum lifts, whichever one you're doing. Let's do our punch and kick. You're going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to your sit to stand or your bum lifts, whichever one you're doing now. Let's do another 10 punch and kicks. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to your sit to stands or your bum lifts. 6 elbows to knees. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to your sit to stand or the bum lifts. 10 punch and kicks. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right away, heel raises. 4, 3, 2, 1. Trunk twist right away. We go 4, 3, 2, 1. And you return to your sit to stand or the bum lift. Elbows to knees. We're going for 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Return to your sit to stand. Last one, we're going to go for 10 punch and kicks. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, hopefully you're a little bit warmer. I'm just going to move my chair forward. We're going to do a bit of a stretch here. Let me turn sideways. So what you're going to do is you're now going to move your bottom back in the chair, and you're going to sit back into the backrest of the chair. Arms up behind your head. Open those elbows to the side, and you're going to stretch up and over the chair for upper back and chest stretch, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And we're going to do that again. Arms up behind the head. Open the elbows out to the side, and you're going to reach up and over the back of the chair. Just be careful, of course, not to tip the chair. No falling. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Stay where you are. I'm just going to turn back to face you. Legs nice and wide. Float those arms up into a T shape. Open those fingers. And we're going to tip down to the side for a side stretch. Hopefully you feel it in the trunk. Shoulders away from the ears, reaching the arms in opposite directions. Nicely done. Breathing. Chest forward. And coming back up. Drop the arms for a second. Float them back up. Energy through the fingers. Tipping over to the other side. Same thing. Shoulders away from the ears. Stretching the outside of your trunk. Reach the arms away. And coming back up, drop the arms. Take your hand, hold on to the outside of the opposite knee, and then your other hand is going to wrap around the back of the chair. You're going to sit up nice and tall, and you're going to turn yourself. You're going to pull yourself around such that you're doing a trunk rotation to look at the back wall. Nice and tall here if you can. And release. Same to the other side. Take your hand, grab hold of the opposite knee, other hand wrapping around the back of the chair, sitting tall, and you're going to twist yourself around to look at the back wall. Keep your knees where they are. Try not to turn the knees. Keep them still. Nice and tall through the spine. And release. Let's do one more on either side. Take your hand. Reach the opposite knee, other hand wrapping around the back of the chair, sitting tall, and you're going to twist around to look at the back wall. And release. Same to the other side. Take your hand, opposite knee, other hand wrapping around the chair, sitting tall, and you twist yourself around. And release. Okay, so we're going to go over our exercises now. So we're going to do 5 exercises, 2 rounds for the exercises. So the first round, we're doing 2 minutes each for each of the 5 exercises. And then your second round, we're only doing 1 minute each for the 5 exercises. Okay, so the first one, we're going to start by having our legs together or as close together as you possibly can without feeling like you're going to fall off your chair. Now, really important, when we're doing the exercise today, we're sitting at the fronts of our chairs, right? So I don't want to see anyone back here, remember, because if you're back here, it's going to be very difficult to move your legs and your body because you're going to hit the back of the chair. And also, I don't want anyone leaning back like this. We want to use our tummy muscles. We're sitting up tall. We're moving ourselves to the front of the chair. So we're in a nice active position. So we're ready to exercise. Okay, so sitting at the front of the chair, here's what we're going to do. Legs are going to be close together, if not all the way together. It's up to you, but they're going to be close together. And then what you're going to do here is you're going to take your leg, you're going to step out to the side, and you're going to touch the floor with your fingers. And then you're going to bring that leg back in and you're going to reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Same to the other side. Step out, touch the floor, step in, reach up. Step out, touch the floor, step in, reach up. Step out, touch the floor, step in, reach up. So as I'm doing this, if you look at my hips for a second, I'm sort of twisting. So I'm kind of facing on a diagonal and then I'm coming back into the middle and then I'm facing the diagonal. And then I'm coming back in. So I'm kind of swiveling. I'm kind of swiveling on my chair. So I'm nice and active through my trunk and I'm moving on the chair, if that kind of makes sense. So you're stepping out, touch the floor, stepping in, reach up. Stepping out, touch the floor, step in, reach up. Okay, should we try that? You've got 2 minutes here to try this exercise. Remember, if you need a break, you're welcome to take one during the 2 minutes. That's okay. Just try to get right back into it if you can. Or if anything is too fast, you can slow it down. You don't have to do the same speed. So by all means, if doing this is too much for you, you can absolutely slow it down as long as you're still reaching and you're still stepping out and you're still reaching. You're trying to move the entire 2 minutes as much as possible. Okay, are we ready? 2 minutes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Stepping out, reaching down, stepping out and in, out and in. Really reach those fingers to the floor as you're stepping out and reach those fingers to the ceiling when you come back in. Remember, you're swiveling on the chair. You're doing this kind of diagonal swivel on the chair with your hips as you're doing this exercise. So you got to use your tummy muscles to help you here so that you can swivel around, nice and active position. Remember, we're not sitting at the back of the chair, right? You're sitting at the front of the chair because it'll be much easier for you to move. Nicely done. Keep going. Keep breathing. Make sure you reach all the way up. No one should be like this. Reach all the way up if you possibly can. You've got 1 minute left. Reach all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. Nicely done. Keep going with those legs, stepping out, stepping in. Good. Keep breathing. You can do this. 50 seconds. Keep going. 45 seconds. Keep breathing. Reach all the way up if you can. So you're flexing your trunk forward and then lifting it back up. So you're bending forwards and then straightening back up. 30 seconds. Nicely done, everybody. 20 seconds. Last 15. Nicely done. Keep going. You're almost there. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done. Okay, very good. So next one, we're going to still be sitting at the fronts of our chairs. This time, we're widening our legs more. So before we were starting like this, now we're starting like this. You want the legs to be just as wide as your chair. If you find your balance is a little bit of an issue here when you're doing the exercise, which I'll show you in a second, you're welcome to widen your legs a little bit more to help with that balance piece, okay? So sitting up nice and tall, plant your feet into the ground. We're not moving our legs for this one, you'll be happy to know. So you can plant your feet into the ground, really think about the soles of your feet connecting with the earth. And what we're going to do here is we're going to punch to the outside of the opposite leg. So if I'm punching with the right arm, I'm going to the outside of my left leg like this. Punching, other side. Punching to the outside of the opposite leg. And then I'm punching on a diagonal straight up, diagonal straight up. So again, we go punching down, punching down, punching diagonal, punching diagonal. We keep repeating. We go down, down, diagonal, diagonal. So it's a bit of a trunk twist, this one. Down, diagonal, diagonal. Of course, you don't need to go that fast, but we're switching arms every time. So we're going down, down, diagonal, diagonal. And when we're doing the punching, I don't want to see anyone do this, right? We don't want to just be facing the front and our arms are kind of crossing the body. I want you to get your breastbone to kind of lead the movement. So when I'm punching down, my breastbone is also pulled down towards the direction my arm is going. And then I come up, and then again, my breastbone gets pulled down in the direction that I'm punching. Same with the diagonal punches. My breastbone is reaching, my breastbone is going the direction I'm punching the entire time. So there's that element of the trunk twist. So it's not just the arms crossing, but it's the body going with the arms. Okay, so down, down, up, up. Okay, are you ready? 2 minutes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Punch down, punch down, punch diagonal, diagonal. Keep going. So down, down, up, up. Make sure you're going across the body so that you're punching to the opposite direction to the side that you're to the side of the arm. So if you're using your right arm, you're punching to the left. If you're using your left arm, you're punching to the right. And really imagine there's actually a target there for you to punch, like you're moving as much air as you can, or maybe you're imagining you're submerged in a swimming pool and you're trying to punch as much water out of the way as possible. Not that that's physically possible, but you get the idea. There's that resistance of you punching. There's that resistance against your punches. Nicely done. Keep going. Good. Nice job, everybody. Keep going. Make sure you're using your breastbone, letting your breastbone lead the movement here. Nicely done. Keep going. You've got 1 minute left. Keep breathing. Plant your feet into the floor. Try not to lift the legs as you're doing this. You don't want to be throwing yourself off balance. You can open those legs a little wider if you feel like your balance is getting thrown off. Nicely done. Last 40 seconds. So you can see this is probably why it's better to have a chair without an armrest, because otherwise you might have a little bit of difficulty with this one. Last 20 seconds. Doing good. Think about that resistance of your punch, like you're punching through water. You got to add a little bit more oomph to your punch to really get that force across. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nicely done, everybody. Okay, my chair's slowly slid back, so moving forward again. Okay, so you've done 2 exercises so far. So we're going to do our 3rd exercise now. So we already have a total of 5 for the circuit. So we're on to our 3rd exercise. And this one is going to be our PD Warrior box step that we're doing today. So what that's going to look like is you're going to look at the floor where your feet are for a second. And just imagine there's a square on the floor. There's a square box on the floor, okay? You're going to start with your feet on the back 2 corners of the square. And then you're going to stomp your feet to the front 2 corners of the square. And then back again to the back 2 corners of the square. And then your other leg is going to start. You go front of the square, front 2 corners of the square. Then the back 2 corners of the square. Switch legs. Now your right leg. We go forward, forward, back, back, left leg, forward, forward, back, back. Keyword here is you're stomping. So we're not shuffling, right? We're not doing this. We are stomping, 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 stomping. Other side. Stomp, 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 stomp. Okay, that's the legs. The arms go like this. They're going to start by our armpits. And we're going to push the arms forward, spreading out the fingers nice and wide, like you're pushing somebody away from you. And then you're going to grab and pull back towards you nice and effortlessly. So we're not just doing this, right? But we're pushing, pulling, pushing, pulling. And you shouldn't have your fingers forward because we don't push with our fingers. We push with our palms, right? So we're pushing and pulling. Now, to put that together with the legs, it looks like this. We go forward, forward, back, back. Other side. Forward, forward, back, back. Okay, so your arms push forward as you're stomping forward, and your arms pull back as you're stepping back. So like this. Forward, forward, back, back. Other side. Forward, forward, back, back. Okay, now if that's too easy and you want a challenge, you are welcome to alternate the arms with every step. So it looks like this. Push, pull, push, pull. Other side. Push, pull, push, pull. If that's too confusing, don't worry. Just push when you step forward and then pull when you step back. Okay, are we ready? Should we try it? You've got 2 minutes. Sit up nice and tall. Imagine that square box on the floor. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Forward, back. Remember to stop the floor. Forward, back. Remember, if this is too fast, please feel free to slow it down. Stomp the floor. Even though we're sitting, you're stomping the floor. Remember to think about the arms. You're pushing something away and pulling it back towards you. So you're really spreading out those fingers and then clenching those fists. Nicely done. Once you get the pattern, you can speed it up if you like, or if that's too fast, please slow it down. That's okay. And of course, you're welcome to try the alternating arms if you get the movement. But of course, please slow it down if you need to. You got 1 minute left. You can slow it down if you need to. Nicely done. Sitting tall in the chair. Remember, you're pushing and pulling with force. Push, pull, stomp the floor. Push, pull, stomp the floor. Push, pull. Nicely done. Keep going. As much energy as you can muster in all 4 limbs. Really imagine there's a force in front of you that you're pushing away from you and then pulling towards you, almost like you're moving underwater again. You got that kind of resistance. 30 seconds, actually 25. Nicely done. Last 20 seconds. Nice, keep going. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nicely done, everybody. Whew. Who knew seated exercises could be so energetic? Okay, our next exercise, your 4th one, is going to look like this. You're going to sit at the front of the seat again, but this time you're starting with your legs wide, nice and wide as you can go without feeling like you're stretching or you're falling over. So you can see the bottom of my chair is here and my legs are on the outside of the chair. So try not to be too narrow. Try to go a little wider than the chair if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Same width as the chair is fine too. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Legs wide. You're going to bring your arms up with the palms facing upwards. Okay, so you can see that. Here's my palms. They're turned upwards towards the ceiling. Okay, what you're going to do here is you're going to clap on a diagonal like this and then come back in. Same to the other side. You're clapping on a diagonal. When I clap on the diagonal, my leg is going to reach in the opposite direction. So when I'm clapping to the right side, my left leg is going out, almost like a counterbalance, and then I come back in. If I clap to the left, my right leg is going to shoot out to the side and come back in. So almost like a counterbalance, because if I do this, I might feel like I'm falling over, although you shouldn't. You should be able to hold your trunk up. We're changing this exercise so that you can reach the leg out almost like a counterbalance. And also that way you're leaning, you're shifting your weight from your hip to the other hips. You're switching your weight, you're shifting your weight from the right to left and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the movement. 2 minutes. Remember, you can slow it down if you need. Are you ready? I'll do it nice and slow at first, and then that way you can follow. 2 minutes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. You're clapping on a diagonal, opposite leg shoots out. Clapping on a diagonal, opposite leg shoots out. If you know this movement or you've done this one before or you just get the movement, please feel free to speed it up. For now, I'm going to stay at this pace just in case anybody is lost, but please feel free to speed it up. So I'm not lifting my leg off the floor, right? I'm not shooting it out off the floor. I'm keeping it on the floor. So my toes are on the floor and I'm coming back in. So I'm not lifting that leg, but I am shooting it out as far as I can. Hopefully that makes sense. Keep those arms up. Don't let them fall down here. Keep them up high, palms facing the ceiling. You're clapping on a diagonal and then come back to that middle position. And then same to the other side. Your opposite leg is shooting out. 1 minute left. If you have this movement, see if you can speed it up a little bit. Big clap. Clapping overhead, try not to clap down here. Open those arms, reach. Almost like you're extending your elbows as far away as you can, like you're clapping up overhead as much as possible, 40 seconds. Nicely done. "30 seconds, you're almost there. Nicely done. 20 seconds. Make sure you're leaning side to side, you're shifting your weight from hip to hip. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake out those arms. Well done. Okay. Last exercise of the circuit. I'm going to turn sideways. You probably guessed it. We are doing our single leg bias sit-to stands again. So last time we practiced our sit-to stand, we talked about having one leg slightly back and one leg forward, such that the leg that's back, you're biasing that side, right? So instead of having both feet on the same orientation at the same level, we're now standing up and sitting down with one leg back, one leg forward. So you're biasing on that back leg here and sitting down. So we did 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. Do you remember that? But of course, there's an option as well to just do the bum lifts, the single leg bum lifts, if you don't want to stand all the way back up. So today we're going to take it up a notch. We're still doing either the sit-to stand version or the bum lift, but this time you are definitely going to try the single leg bias, or if you want to, you can take one leg off the floor. So you're doing a single leg sit-to stand. You're going to do 5 on one side, and then you're going to do 5 on the other side. So the principle is the same as before. When you're doing the single leg stance, you're still bringing your body forward and you're trying to get your weight over the base of support. And let me do the other leg. I think you're blocked. If I do the leg at the back, I'll do the leg at the front this time. So exactly the same thing. You're bringing your weight forward over your base of support, right? You're putting your entire weight over your base of support. In this case, it's your foot. And then you're pushing the floor away from you as hard as you can with that leg. And then you're sitting back down exactly the same. Stick your bottom back. You're keeping your weight over that supporting leg. Kind of makes sense? Now, if you didn't want to do the full stand, that's okay. You can try the bum lifts as well. That's fine as well, bum lifts. Or if the single leg is too difficult, just put that front leg down. So then you're back to doing the single leg bias version, where both feet are on the floor. It's just one is further forward, one is further back. So you can either take the leg off the floor or keep it on the floor, and you can do either the full sit-to stand or the bum lifts, and you're doing 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. Kind of makes sense? Okay, should we try it? 5 on one side, 5 on the other side, one leg on the floor, or sorry, both feet on the floor or one leg on the floor. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. So remember, we're doing this nice and slow. The slower, the better here. You're trying not to use momentum to kind of pull yourself up. And you don't want to be sitting back here and pushing the back of the leg into the chair to help you up either. You want to try to use the strength of your leg to help you stand back up. Remember, you're doing 5 on one side, 5 on the other side, and then you're going to repeat. You can either have one leg off the floor, or you can have both feet on the floor. It's up to you. And you can either do the full standing version or the seated version, where you just lift your bottom up. You just hover your bottom and then you sit back down, or the full standing version. Remember, 5 on each side. Please remember to switch. Nicely done. Stand all the way up. If you are doing the sit-to stand version, please try to get all the way up as tall as you can. You got 1 minute left. Nice and slow if you can. Remember, if you don't want to do the full standing version, just a bum lift, but you're still getting your weight over that supporting leg, right? So just because you're doing the bum lift doesn't mean we're now doing this. Can you see how far back my weight is? It's in my hands, but I want to bend forwards and hover the bottom forward such that my weight is on that supporting leg. Okay, so even if you're doing the bum lift version, you're still getting your weight forward over that base of support. 10 seconds. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done. Okay. So that's circuit set number 1 finished. We're now going to run through those 5 exercises one more time, but this time, rather than 2 minutes for each exercise, we're only doing 1 minute each exercise. So it'll go by a lot faster this time. And then when we're done with that, we're gonna do our dual task challenge, and then you're done, and then you're out of here. Okay, so first exercise, we are starting with our feet together, or at least as close together as you can. They don't necessarily have to be completely touching. They could be a little bit apart, but just make sure it's going to be a little bit more narrow than your chair if possible. This is the one where we step out to the side and we touch the floor, and then we step in and we touch the ceiling. Other side, step out, touch the floor, step in, touch the ceiling. You probably remember this. Are you ready? 1 minute. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Touch the floor, touch the ceiling, touch the floor, touch the ceiling. Good. Keep going. Stepping out, stepping in, stepping out, stepping in. Make sure you bend all the way down and then all the way back up after. Nicely done. Remember, if this is too fast, please feel free to slow it down. That's okay. As long as you get the amplitude of the movement, you're stepping that leg out, you're kind of pivoting. Your bottom is kind of pivoting on the chair. We're not just facing forward, you're kind of facing a diagonal when your leg steps out, and then you face forward when your leg steps in. Nicely done, everybody. Keep going. Breathing. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. 1 minute goes by so much faster after you've done a 2 minute round. Okay, so our next exercise is our punching one. So we're gonna open those legs a little wider so we're nice and stable. And this is the one where we punch down to the outside of the opposite leg. So we go down, other arm, down, and then we punch up on a diagonal, up. So we go down, down, up, up. And remember, when we're doing the punches, our breastbone is moving with us. So we're not just moving the arms across. You see how if I'm just doing that, my body's not really moving, it's just my arms, right? But instead, you want your breastbone to go where you're punching, your breastbone's going where you're punching. So you're kind of doing that twist with the body. Okay, you have 1 minute. Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Down, down, up, up. You're twisting your trunk. You're letting your breastbone sort of lead that movement. And of course, if you need to slow it down, please feel free to slow it down and work at a range that's safe for you. So please don't try to twist around as quickly and as forcefully as you can in one go, because I don't want you to hurt your back. So just be a little bit mindful, maybe make the first few a little smaller and then try to get gradually bigger if you like. Nicely, keep going. Ooh, time has gone by so fast. You got 20 seconds. Keep going. Legs nice and wide to give you that stable support. Imagine that you're punching underwater, so you got that resistance. Nicely done. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done. Okay. So exercise number 3 is our box step. So that's the one where we're imagining there's a square on the floor and you're starting with your feet to the back two corners of the square. And then you move them, you stomp them to the front two corners of the square and then back two corners of the square again. And then same thing, leading with the other leg, stomp forward, forward, back, back. And the arms when push and pull. So it'll look like this. You go push, pull. So you push as your legs are stomping forward. So push. And then you pull as your legs are stomping back. Pull. Or if you're advanced and you want to keep alternating the arm, you push and pull with every step like this. Push, pull, push, pull. Other side. Push, pull, push, pull. So it's up to you which version you're doing and try to keep the stomp as rhythmic as you can. So you don't want to go stomp, 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 but you want them to be rhythmic. So stomp, 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 stomp. Okay, and you can speed it up once you have the movement. Are you ready? 1 minute, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Forward, back, other side. Forward, back, forward, back. Remember to splay the fingers when you're pushing and then squeeze your fists when you're pulling. So when you're pushing, you shouldn't have your fingers just pointing forward because we don't push with the fingers, we push with the palms. So really try to flex the hand here so that the palm is facing forward, like you're actually pushing somebody out of the way and then you're pulling something towards you again. Imagine that analogy of you doing this underwater. So there's that resistance and you ought to add in a bit of force in order to get the arms and legs where you want them to go. 15 seconds. Pull. Nicely done. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nicely done. Okay, last two exercises, and then we've got our dual task challenge. Our next one is going to be the one where we start with our legs nice and wide. We have the arms open out to the side, palms facing up, and we're clapping on a diagonal while shooting out the opposite leg to the side so that your toes are on the floor, kind of like a counterbalance. Remember that you're transferring your weight from side to side, so from one butt cheek to the other butt cheek. So you're moving your weight. So we're not just staying in the middle like this, but we're moving our weight from side to side. We're leaning. Okay, 1 minute. Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Remember, you're clapping overhead, not here, but overhead if you can, reaching the clap away from you as much as you can. Same with the foot that's shooting out. You're reaching it out away from you as much as possible. And if this is too fast, please slow it down. You don't have to do the same speed. You are welcome to slow it down as long as you're practicing that transferring of weight from hip to hip, and then you're reaching your arms and legs in the opposite direction. Nicely done. You got 30 seconds. Keep going, keep breathing, shoulders away from the ears if you can. Try not to keep your shoulders up to your ears like that. Nice long neck if you can. Good, keep going, 10 seconds. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nicely done. Okay, last exercise, last minute of hard work. So our last exercise is our single leg sit to stand or bottom hover. So one leg off the floor if you can, or if that's too hard, you can place that heel on the floor or the foot on the floor, but it's in front of you, right? So that way you're biasing one leg. So like this, bring your weight forward over the supporting leg, and then you stand all the way back up. Same on the way down, you stick your bottom back, but you're keeping your weight over that base of support, and then you sit down. 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. You keep going 5 on one side, 5 on the other side for the entire minute. Or if you don't want to do a full stand, You can still have one leg off the floor and you're still going to do the bottom hover like this. You're bringing your weight forward over that base of support, in that case, the back foot. Doing 5 of these bum hovers and then 5 on the other side for the entire minute. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Remember to do this nice and slow. Try not to use momentum or try not to let your arms kind of pull yourself up. You're practicing transferring your weight over your base of support and then pushing the floor away from you as hard as you can. And then when you sit down, same thing. You're keeping your weight over your base of support here. 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. You've only got 30 seconds left. Remember, you can do the bottom hover as well. If you don't want to stand all the way up, same thing, bottom hover, but you're actually hovering your bottom, right? So we're not just doing this, we're keeping our weight in our hands, but you're bringing your weight forward. Nicely done, everybody. You got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nicely done, everybody. Let's just quickly stretch out our thighs for a second before we do our dual task challenge. So what you're going to do here is you're going to move yourself over onto a diagonal. So my chair stays where it is, but I'm moving myself on a diagonal such that my kneecaps are pointing on a diagonal. The front knee, you're going to point that towards the floor, and then you're going to lean back into the chair. So the knee is not on the floor, you're just pointing it towards the floor, and then lean back in the chair. You should feel a stretch in your thigh and the front of the hip, and just hold that for a second. The further back your foot is, the more you'll feel that stretch. And then coming back up, let's do the same thing on the other side on a diagonal. The front foot, you're sliding back such that your knee is pointing towards the floor. And then you lean back and kind of push your hip forward. So you're straightening out the front of your hip as much as you can. Nicely done. And of course, the further back that front foot is, the more you feel that stretch. And coming back up. Okay, so we are going to do our dual task challenge for the last couple of minutes before we finish the class. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to do a physical movement, so a physical exercise, and we're going to pair that with a cognitive exercise, so a thinking skill type exercise. And today, being the last class, we're going to be a little nicer, and we're not going to do any legs for our exercise, for our physical exercise. We're just going to do a hand dexterity exercise. So I'm going to come forward so that way you can see me. So for you at home, stay seated on your chair, but I'm just moving forward now so you can see me a little bit better because we're going to do our hands. So you're going to hold your hands up and you're going to spread out the fingers as wide as you can. So really flatten the palm and really widen your fingers. You're splaying out your hand and fingers as much as possible. So not like this, like that, okay? So even though we're doing hand dexterity, it's different to what we did in our Tuesday standing class. So if you were here for Tuesday, we're doing hand dexterity, but slightly differently than our Tuesday class. So we're spreading our hands nice and wide. What you're going to do here is keeping your fingers as long as possible and your palm as wide as possible. You're going to tap the tip of your index finger to your thumb once, like this, 1, and you open back up. Then you're moving on to your middle finger is going to tap your thumb twice, like this, 1, 2, open all the way back up. And then your ring finger is going to tap your thumb 3 times like this, 1, 2, 3, open back up. And then your little finger is going to tap your thumb 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and open back up. And then we're going to reverse. So little finger tapping your thumb once, ring finger tapping your thumb twice, middle finger tapping your thumb 3 times, index finger tapping your thumb 4 times. Like that, okay? So really important is when you are tapping, you can see that all my other fingers are nice and wide and nice and long. So what I'm not doing is I'm not curling the hand in just because I'm tapping my finger and I'm not doing this, but I'm keeping my hand nice and splayed, and it's only the finger that's tapping that I'm bending. The rest are as long as they possibly could be maintained, okay? So you're tapping once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times, and then you reverse once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. Make sure you're not like this, open, okay? So that's your physical movement. Now, while you're doing the physical movement of what I just showed you, you're also going to be doing a cognitive task. So you're going to say out loud as many animals as you can think of from the letter Z back up to the letter A. So for example, you're going to say an animal whose name starts with the letter Z, then Y, then X, then all the way back up to the letter A. So you're going backwards in the alphabet today. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, let's start with the physical movement first. Don't worry about the animals yet. Let's just start. You're tapping the once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then you reverse. We'll just start with that so you can get the movement. It does not have to be the speed that I'm doing. You're welcome to do it much slower if you like, that's okay. Or you can do it faster as long as we're not like this. You want to keep the posturing of the hand nice and open. So just do the hand movement first. Let's start with that. And when you're ready, you're going to start naming animals starting from the letter Z back up to A in the alphabet. You ready? Off you go. I'm going to try not to talk so you can concentrate. Remember to keep your hand nice and open. Go slower if you like. Make sure that you're keeping the hand moving even when you're thinking about the animal names in the alphabet. You don't want to stop moving. You want to keep moving if you can. Remember, you're saying animals out loud from the letter Z back up to A. So an animal that starts with the letter Z, and then an animal that starts with the letter Y, and then X, and so on and so forth back to A. Keep the hand nice and wide, nice and splayed. How are we doing? Keep the hand moving even when you're thinking about the animals in the alphabet. Make sure your hand opens back up as wide as possible every time so we're not like this. Okay, let's stop there. Shake out your hands. You can open and close your fist a few times. Shake out those wrists if you need. And that is it for our seated exercise series. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope that it was challenging, but yet doable. And I hope you had some fun as well. I know the dual task challenge at the end of the class is always a little bit tricky, so good on you for keep going with it. And I hope that these exercises you can take with you to practice as well. So remember, the exercise class is recorded and it will go onto our YouTube channel, hopefully before the beginning of next week, or beginning of next week if we're not able to get it onto the YouTube channel today or tomorrow. So you are welcome to have a look at the exercise class again if you would like. And I look forward to seeing you for our next exercise series. So November, the dance class, or if I don't see you then I will see you in the new year for future Halloween classes. I was gonna say Halloween classes because I see someone write Halloween on the chat box. I meant our future exercise classes. And yes, happy Halloween to you as well. Thank you, everybody.